started here. So, hello and welcome to today's webinar. Welcome to today's webinar. It is Financial Aid Payments and Housing, Navigating a Successful First Year at Western. And in general, welcome to Western Washington University. We're excited to have you join us for the information session today, and then for the start of your academic career in the fall. My name is Holly Beebe, and I am the Revenue Unit Supervisor in the Student Business Office, which we like to call the SBO. And you'll be hearing about what role the SBO plays in the university a little bit later. I am here as our hostess to just assist us in moving through the webinar today. So I do want to start with a few reminders. We are recording today's webinar. The recordings will be made available on several different websites after the last webinar session. So that's scheduled for September 13th. The plan is that an email will go out with a notification about those recordings being available. So keep an eye out for that after September 13th, so a little later in the month of September. On the subject of email, I do want to open up with a reminder for our Western students out there that that is Western's preferred method of communication. So not only with information about today's recording, but for all of your future information through your career at Western, it's a good idea to always keep an eye on your Western email. A few tidbits on what today's events are going to look like. The webinar will start with just 3 short presentations, one from financial aid, one from the Student Business Office, and one from university residences. That's going to make up the smaller portion of today's event. The bulk of what we want is a bunch of time for you to ask questions and for us to answer those. So on that note, there is a Q&A feature on Zoom. That's what we're going to be using for the questions. So definitely throw your questions in there and they will either get answered out loud at the end during the question session or not. And for the Q&A, please try to hold your questions until that Q&A session opens up at the end. The presenters don't have the ability to see your questions as they're presenting, and they might get answered through their presentation. So hang on to those, and we'll be sure if we don't get to them today in our time, you can reach out to our individual departments by email, or we can follow up with you as well. So definitely your questions will get answered one way or another. So be sure to hang on to those until the end. I think those are all the housekeeping items I had to start. So we're going to start our presentation today with financial aid. So I'm going to hand it over to financial aid.
Thanks, Holly. My name is Shannon Matthews, and I am a financial aid counselor here at Western. We are going to cover a very, very brief overview of your financial aid, and hopefully you have received this letter, your offer letter. If you have not, make sure to be checking your Western Web for You portal in the financial aid tab. If you still don't have one in the next couple of weeks, you can always contact our office and see what's going on. But when you fill out the FAFSA, this is kind of what you get out of that. So based on that information you punched into the FAFSA, so your aid award might look maybe might not have as many lines as this, or it might look a little different for each student, of course, but so we're going to just cover the major areas of this. So we're going to start with the cost of attendance. So as you can see, there's 2 areas. There's estimated direct costs and estimated indirect costs. And most of this will have the same kind of numbers for all students, except maybe your living expenses. If you're living off campus, your numbers might be a little different in reality. Or if you're a non-resident student, the tuition and fees is going to be higher, but the housing should be roughly the same if you're on campus. So let's look at the direct costs. So these are something that you cannot change, and they will be charged to your student account. So tuition and fees Like I said, room and board if you are living on campus, and then that enrollment fee, which a lot of you might have already paid, which is great. And then you, these charges will go on to your student account, directly charged for them. So the indirect costs are things that we have kind of estimated out, things that you might be paying out of pocket for, or hopefully, we'll have enough financial aid to cover some of these things. So books and supplies, your personal spending, transportation are things like if you have a parking pass, if you're, if you're commuting to and from campus, you'll have gas and insurance and all those kinds of charges that come with a car. And remember that students have that bus pass on your ID, so use that for sure. So it's a good thing, to sit down with your parents or anyone who can kind of help you look at a budget and kind of think about what your choices for spending are kind of like. So, maybe your personal spending won't be as much as we estimate out. Maybe it'll be a lot more, but it'll help give you a better idea of those expenses for the year. And these are, I should have mentioned, these are costs for the entire school year. And of course, these can also fluctuate, books and supplies. If you're taking certain classes that have more expensive books, or, extra supplies for like art classes or things like that. But gives you a good general idea of some of those costs that you're going to encounter while at school. So let's go to the important part that people want to know about. So your estimated financial aid eligibility. So we have different kinds of things here. We have grants, scholarships, work study, and loans. So these are in order from most favorable aid types to least favorable. So again, not every student will have all of these offered to them, but we're just going to cover each one quickly so that you'll be familiar with them at least a little bit. So grants are wonderful because they are basically free money for you. Your grants are what we call need-based aid. So depending on what your FAFSA contained, how much it thinks that you can contribute to school. So some of you might not have grants offered to you based on your financial need. But if you do, those are great because it's basically free money. And then we're going to go down to scholarships. So scholarships, there's two kind of different scholarships. So some are merit-based scholarships, like you see this Admissions Achievement Award. Those are through the admissions office or from, based on your application when you apply to Western. So if you do see admissions scholarships on there, fantastic. If you think you might have missed one or should be considered for one, you can always contact admissions with questions about those ones. And then there are private scholarships. So, a lot of people will apply to scholarships either through groups that they know of or, just outside sources for those. They have separate applications apart from your FAFSA. They are a great resource. There are a lot of scholarships that go without people applying for them, and that money just sits there. So we really encourage people to check out scholarship opportunities. Our scholarship center is a fantastic resource for students to do some research and finding some scholarships that might work for you. The next thing is work study. So work study is another program that's need-based. You can earn money while working part-time on or off campus. There is a limit to how many hours a week you can work. So that can kind of help with balancing work and your academics. So you can always contact the Student Employment Center if you think you should have been offered work study, if you're eligible. but it's not on your financial aid offer, they can get you on a wait list. But there is also lots of non-work study jobs on and off campus. So if you aren't offered work study, but you do want to work, there's lots of opportunities there for you too. And then we get to the federal direct loans. So these are the student loans. They require at least half-time enrollment. So a really common misconception that some students get is that you have to be full-time in order to receive financial aid, and that's not true. So the student loans, you just need to be enrolled in 6 or more credits, so half-time or more. Both of these loans have that requirement. And if you are going to take out loans and haven't done so before, then you would need to log on to studentaid.gov where you filled out your FAFSA, and you need to complete 2 entrance requirements. So one is entrance counseling. It's a little online class that kind of gives you the ins and outs of the loans so you understand more about what you would be signing up for if you choose to accept those. And then the other requirement is the master promissory note. And that is kind of like your contract of you understand that you're borrowing this money, you'll eventually have to pay it back, and that you understand what was discussed in the entrance counseling. So once those 2 requirements are complete, your loans can pay out. You can also see what you've been offered in your web for you under the financial aid tab. And that's also where you would go to accept all or part of the loan. You can also decline it. And then the amount of loans, you can see on this one, this letter is for a freshman. So the total loan amount is $5,500. That's the max amount you can get as a freshman. And that total increases with your class level each year. So $5,500 for freshmen, $6,500 for sophomores, and $7,500 for juniors and seniors. And those are dependent student numbers. If you are considered an independent student, those have different totals. All right. So if there is a difference between your cost of attendance and the financial aid that you've been offered, there are some options how to cover that gap. So we have the Parent Plus loan, which is like a student loan that your parent would take out in their name. They do have to do a separate application for that, and there is a credit check required. So it can be a nice source for some people. Sometimes, it just depends on your personal preference and, your credit, things like that. There are also private loans. So you might have heard of Sallie Mae or College Ave. Those are some big lenders. We have a choice or a tool on our website called Fast Choice, and it can help you to compare and contrast different private loan lenders and their terms, and you can filter by different things. So if you are looking at different options for other loan types, we really encourage you to do your research, as with interest rates being so high, there's a lot of areas where you can go to find different types of loans. So just really do your research if you're looking at more information on that. Outside scholarships, we kind of talked about. So again, looking at our scholarship center's website, visiting them in person in the office in Old Main, they are a great resource for finding those opportunities. Employment, again, we kind of touched on that, on or off campus positions, work study or non-work study jobs. The Employment Center can help you. They have a job board. They have some great resources for that as well. And of course, if you're paying anything out of pocket or through savings, and some students also have a tuition payment plan, if it makes it a little easier to pay out of pocket. So you would set that up with the student business office at the beginning of the quarter, and they can break down that remaining balance for you into a couple easier, smaller payments. And then some good reminders. So always make sure that you're keeping an eye on your online portal, so in Web for You, for checking your financial aid status. For active messages, if you have any holds on your account or outstanding requirements, in your web for you in those active messages is where you're going to see how you can resolve those and the steps that you need to take in order to get your financial aid. And any documentation for those requirements you can submit to our office or use our document uploader. And you would be updated again through web for you to let you know what you need for any of those holds or anything, any information that you might need to correct or anything like that. And then there is a terms and conditions tab, which is always good to review as well. And I think that kind of covers it. Obviously, this is really fast. There's a lot of situations that a lot of different students encounter or questions about. Maybe their income isn't the same as it was when in 2021, the tax year that you used to fill out the FAFSA. We can help with that. If you think your award isn't correct, we can answer those questions. You can come into the office. You can schedule an appointment online. We have counselors that have open hours for making appointments. So make sure that you stay on top of everything. And yeah, we'd love to talk to you if you have a situation that is a little confusing or you think, might need some further review. So don't hesitate to reach out to our office.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for all that information. That was amazing. And I think that last point that you made there was a really good one to drive home as far as how many unique situations there are out there for everyone. And just an extra reminder on that front is that the questions today that we're going to be answering, we're really going to try to focus that to be more general information that can be applicable to everyone. So if you do find yourself having a very specific question about your specific circumstances, definitely take note of the department contact information. We'll show that again during the question and answer portion. And that way we can touch base with you and go over your specific situation. So thank you so much. And next up, we have the Student Business Office. So I will hand it over.
Thank you, Holly. My name is Megan Dominguez, and I am happy to have you all join us here for the webinar today. I use she, her pronouns, and I am within the Student Business Office. I work in the debt recovery unit. We are going to talk about today when, where, and how to pay. So I am going to be sharing quite a bit of information as we all have mentioned, but if you can hang in with us and have your questions at the Q&A portion at the end of the webinar, that would be wonderful. So I'm going to start off with letting you know about our office. With that being said, the Student Business Office has several units within this office. The first unit we have is the payment unit. We process all payments that Western receives for our students, tuition, fees, housing, any other education-related expenses. We handle all incoming payments from federal and state agencies, other universities, and private businesses. Our online portal, which I'll share a little bit about more later, allows you to make payments anytime, day or night. We also have our billing unit. Our billing unit's responsible for financial activity on your student account. This includes any charges, refunds, and year-end tax statements. And lastly, we have the debt recovery unit. We help students navigate repayment of federal loans, as well as former student account balances. If you find yourself with a past due balance, our unit can help you. Give us a call and we can discuss repayment solutions for you. So that's the SBO in general. Now let's get into when, where, and how to pay. Our website is SBO.WWU.edu. This is an image of our homepage, and I encourage everyone to be familiar with this website. It's an excellent resource for you to revisit all of the information that we're going to discuss today, as well as important dates and deadlines, how to make a payment, tuition and fees. On the screen here, you'll see the tuition and payments tab is highlighted, and then the when, where, and how to page link. So we're going to go in there. So the biggest two questions I hear a lot are, when will I see my tuition charges and when is my tuition due? So tuition charges are charged to a student's account on a quarterly basis and are viewable on their student account as soon as they register for classes. So although these charges are placed on your account immediately upon registration, tuition is not due until the first day of class. So as you see on the screen, you'll see for the fall term, the tuition due date is September 27th. And then for winter, January 9th, and spring, April 2nd. There is a little bit of a grace period that is extended to the close of business on the 15th the following month. So for fall tuition, if it remains unpaid at the close of business on October 15th, a $55 late fee and 1% interest charge will be assessed. I encourage you to review these dates and deadlines and to log into your Western account regularly so you are aware of the activity on your account, and hopefully you can avoid some of these additional charges. In addition to the established tuition due dates of the SBO establishes, we also send monthly statement notification emails. These go out to any student and authorized payer on the first of the month. This is a screenshot of what the monthly statement looks like. These are only sent when there has been activity on your student account in the prior month. This email does come from sbo@cashnet.vendor.wwu.edu as seen on the screen. And it does include a lot of great detailed information. It's often a lot of important dates and deadlines, reminders. So I definitely encourage you to review this when you do receive that email. The email does not include your detailed statement, but rather a prompt for you to log in and view your Western account online in order to view your balance and make a payment if needed. So this is an example of what your monthly statement does look like. At the top here, you'll see your statement date, your total amount due, a description of all the current activity and the breakdown for the charges. This is the amount that is currently due on your account. Sometimes you might see if you have a past due balance, that balance would be up here, and then your new charges and your balance due. On the second page, there's a lot of great information, important reminders, late fees, methods of how to pay, and where to send your payments. If you're concerned about your statement, whether you've received one or you have questions on how to access them through your Western account online, you can schedule an online appointment with our office through our virtual scheduler. Our staff would be happy to walk you through this process at any time to make sure that you know how to access them and how to review them. Our Western account online is the where of where, when, and how to pay. Parents and authorized payers can get access to the Western account online from the main page of the SBO website. Again, the SBO website is here, sbo.wwu.edu. And students can access their Western account online through their Web for You. You'll want to navigate to your My Western, Web for You, student accounts, and then Western account online. This is your Western account online portal. So students, when you log in, this is what you initially will see. Upon logging in, you'll see your current account balance in the right-hand corner here. And just as an example, if you've opened and saved your account statement on September 1st, and now it's September 27th, and you're logging into your account and you want to make a payment, but you notice that this total amount due is not matching your September 1st statement, you can find all of your history of account details under account activity details on the left-hand side. This page will track all of your current account activity since your last statement, and you'll be able to see charges or payments that have been applied onto your account from September 1st before the next October 1st statement has been published. And I know this is a lot, so we can definitely walk you through that and make sure that you're reading that correctly and know how to view that later. This is where you would set up an authorized payer. Students can do this by logging into their Western account online, clicking on My Account, and then sending a payer invitation. This is done via email. That authorized payer receives an email that you have created an account for them with a special login with their email and their own password. This allows any authorized payer access to view your account, make payments, access billing statements, and it's a really great way if you have authorized payers or others helping you pay your tuition and bills. Next, this is our when, where, and how to pay page. This has a detailed links on here with all of our payment methods. I'd like to point out that our online payments via e-check is the recommended method to pay. There is no convenience fee for paying via e-check. Card payments are subject to a 2.85 merchant services fee. So we really encourage you to use that e-check method. Now we're going to talk a little bit about 529 payments. We have a great site on our website for 529 payments. It's on that last page under sending 529 payments. If you are using this plan to make your payments, I highly encourage you to navigate to this page and review all of this information. Fees can depend on your processor and depending on who you choose, and the times that you process that, there can be different lead times. So please allow enough time for you to request your funds and for them to get processed in order to not incur any additional fees. Any payments mailed to our office or sent to us should include the student's W number and name, and the contact information on where to send the payments are also on this page. It is, again, sending 529 payments from the when, where, and how to pay page. All right, let's talk about our payment plans. So students who are interested in setting up an installment plan or payment plan with our office, we have at the beginning of the quarter, every quarter, we have a payment plan that you can enroll in that will break your balance down into 2 or 3 monthly installments. There is a $35 fee to enroll in this plan, but it's a great way for you to break your balance down without being subject to the $55 late fee or 1% interest. Enrollment for this opens up the week before the quarter starts and remains open for 2 weeks. On our when, where, and how to pay page, there is a payment plan section, and all of this information is provided on there. Students would enroll for this payment plan within your student account when the enrollment is open. Now that we've covered when, where, and how to pay, I'm just going to touch a little basis on what we call our checklist for success. These are the 4 main forms that we always encourage students to make sure that they've completed. The first one is the release of financial information. This allows us to speak to anybody on your behalf regarding your student account. We are federally obligated by the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, that we do protect your rights as a student and can only speak to those that you authorize. So if you'd like us to talk to somebody, please fill out that form. We have the authorization to apply financial aid funds if you are receiving federal financial aid and cannot pay certain charges, such as a bookstore charge or a health center charge. Unless you give us permission, then your financial aid would not cover that when dispersed. So I encourage you to complete that. You only need to do it once in your lifetime as a student. So if you get financial aid, I would recommend doing that form. The payer invitation, which we already discussed, that establishes an authorized payer to have a unique login and receive monthly statements, as well as you as a student, so that they can log in and make payments or just view the account if needed. And the last thing is the refund preference. So this is setting up a direct deposit. Almost any student who attends Western at some point could get could get a refund, and direct deposit is encouraged. Let me click one more screen here. Direct deposit is set up by going to, or your refund preference is set up by going to refundselection.com. Western does partner with Bank Mobile in order to disperse refunds to students. So some of the reasons why you might get a refund could be that you dropped a class, resulted in a reduction of tuition, could be that you've gotten a scholarship you weren't aware of and it posted, but your account balance was paid. So I definitely encourage you to set that up. Financial aid does disperse the Friday before classes, and it disperses onto your student account, pays the charges as it can, and the remainder would be refunded to you for you to spend on other living expenses, such as campus housing or groceries. These funds will be sent to you in whatever refund preference you have set up. The quickest option is setting up direct deposit to your bank account, and you can do that with an existing bank account. It does take 1 to 2 business days. And we recommend that if you do not set up a refund preference, it would be sent via check and can take upwards to 21 days. So setting up a refund preference is the best option. There is also a Bank Mobile Vibe account that you can elect to sign in for, but you're not required to. You can set up your own bank account information in there. And so that's all I have to share with the SBO's presentation here. We're all happy to support you and glad that you're all here. Feel free to give us a call or schedule a virtual appointment if you have more questions. Back to you, Holly.
Thank you so much, Megan. That was a bunch of awesome information, and I hope most of that sunk in for our attendees out there. I do want to remind everyone, we saw quite a few questions come through during that, and they were actually questions that were just about to be answered by the presentation. So try to hold off on those. Our next presenters are housing, so try to hang on to your housing questions until the very end. Once they've finish up their presentation, the full Q&A session will begin. So appreciate you all out there, and I'm going to hand it over to University Residences.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dong Vo. I'm an assistant director with Residence Life under University Residences. I'm also co-presenting with Michelle here. I'll let Michelle introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining today. My name is Michelle Clark. I also work with University Residences as a fiscal specialist in our housing business office. And I'll give it back over to Dong.
Great. I will share my screen here. We'll go over a few things related to housing, but certainly Michelle or I can answer any housing questions for you. What we really want to highlight is the main housing webpage, and that'll have all the information that you're going to be looking for. The main housing webpage kind of breaks into 4 main sections, and I'll go over each section and kind of what you can expect. The first section is for parents and family. That has information regarding moving in that you'll want to know. What time is check-in? What days are check-in? How do I check in for moving in a few weeks here? Where do I send mail? How do I send mail? What are the addresses, as well as financial information and the student services that we provide. So that has a lot of great information there. For future students that haven't yet lived on campus, you can still apply for housing, although you might be on a wait list at this point. But certainly if you have any special accommodation needs or have any question about that, clicking on that future students link will really help provide some additional financial information, finding roommates, questions about dining, things like that as well, different meal plans. If you're currently a student or about to be a student living on campus, I highly recommend that you spend a good chunk of your time looking at the current residence tab, because that will have a lot of information about maybe jobs that we're posting, resources that we offer for living on campus. That's where you're going to find information about your buildings, your communities, which building has indoor bike storage. Who are the staff that are running the buildings? What is the on-call number? If I'm locked out, who should I call? My blinds are broken. What should I do? What jobs we might be offering, we'll post here as well as on student employment webpage. So that's a really helpful link to click for anybody, whether they are current residents or about to be incoming residents. If you haven't already decided your rooms or communities, again, that's a really great tab to visit, because that'll tell you what all the different buildings look like. You'll find floor plans and all things like that. And then also really paying attention to the guide to housing. That'll give a very broad overview of what we offer, our process, and things. They'll recommend things like, what do you pack? What should you bring? What should you talk with your roommate about? If you haven't gotten in contact with a roommate and have one, you'll want to communicate and decide how many microwaves are we bringing, who's bringing the mini fridge, and things like that. So a lot of it I do want to highlight for financial pieces. Every year we do post positions for working within housing as well as on student employment site. We'll post in both areas, but we have positions that offer free room and board, or room and board is included, I should say. We also have some resources that will help people, such as our Res Reuse program. So you can check out appliances, microwaves, fridges, and things like that. That is free of charge for students. And then we also, every single community has a front desk that manages mails, lockout, and provide different services. In general, you should be able to check out trash bags, general cleaning equipment, toilet paper, things like that. So you don't need to pay for trash bags or toilet paper or general cleaning stuff. So you don't necessarily need to purchase your own vacuum cleaner unless you want to have a dedicated one for yourself. All communities will have a desk that will provide those services. In addition, all of our communities will have on-call staff at all times to make sure the buildings are safe and secure, and that students have someone to call if they need assistance. And then we provide maintenance on call for students when they need it as well, and a whole host of other services. At this point, I'll pass it over to Michelle to talk a little bit more about the financial components.
Hello, everybody. I'm not sure if you can see my camera is doing a really weird glitch right now, but I hope you can see me. If not, I just want to let you know that actually we follow everything that the student business does for tuition, for deadlines. So everything regarding your financial for your room and your meal plan charges, which, by the way, will be on your student account by the second week of September. They will also be on that one account with your tuition, is due by that 27th of September. And we also do follow the guidelines for the grace period 8-2. So as long as that's paid before October 15th, there won't be any late fees or interest that are added to your account. Also, right now, we're in the middle of kind of redoing a revamp of our dining services. So we have a new Chartwell's is our new dining vendor for Western. And so we actually will be having our meal manager open through our housing portal to do your meal plan changes if you'd like to decrease your meal plan or increase your meal plan on September 4th. So just so everybody knows that important date of September 4th, you can go in and make that changes through your housing portal. And then also another good little bit to know about your meal plan is you can always decrease your meal plan the first 2 weeks of the quarter. So that would be by the second Friday of the quarter, would be October 6th. That is that deadline. And then if you'd like to increase your meal plan, that can always happen at any point of the quarter. So you can always go in there and increase your meal plan at any point. Also, just to let everyone know, we do work really closely with the Student Business Office. We also work with the Veterans Office and Financial Aid, and we really partner with them regarding our students. So if there is a point where you're not able to pay your account and it is past the 15th of October, we may be sending you a letter regarding being delinquent. Just make sure you're also looking at your Western student account to make sure you're looking through your emails. Because we do things like we might have to turn a meal plan off, worst case scenario eviction if things aren't paid, if we don't have communication with you, but we work really closely with you. We want to make sure that you know that we're here for you. If there's things that are happening that you might need to be able to have, any kind of questions or a delayed in financial aid or a delay in the Veterans Office, we make sure that we work with students all the time. So just make sure you contact us if you have any issues, if it's going past the 15th of October, and make sure you're getting in and really reading that Western email. That is the official way that all departments at Western communicate with students. And then also just to let you know, if you do change anything regarding rooms, like say you were in Alma Clark class and you decided you want to go to BT, we have different billing and tier billing regarding rooms. So anything that you would incur as if you changed rooms, it might be less of a charge or it may be more of a charge. So anything that you do incur a change, once that change does happen, it takes about 24 hours for that charge to be uploaded to your student account. And that adjustment gets put right on your student account as a credit or a charge. So just make sure you're following the same guidelines regarding adding anything, and that includes those meal plan changes. So it takes 24 hours once you've done a meal plan change for it to be uploaded to your Western account. So just make sure you're getting in there and make sure you're paying or looking at your credits. And like the Student Business Office says, setting up that refund preference. So if you have paid everything off and you did and decrease in a meal plan, that you are getting that refund that is owed to you. And then anything that you may need to do regarding like moving rooms, you can also call our occupancy office. We do have that up right now at the housing at WWU.edu, and that phone number below right there. You can call and talk with them regarding anything regarding your rooms, but any kind of transfers, if you decide you want to do anything like that, you just need to make sure you're going through your resident director in your resident hall. And they will help you with the transfer process if you would like to move buildings or if you have any issues that come forward that you need help with. You're definitely your RA, your resident advisor on your floor can help you with those questions too. And then if you also have any questions regarding our office, regarding financial issues, you can always contact us also at the Housing Business Office. Our email is a little different than the straight housing office, but it's housing.business@wwu.edu. That's an email you can call, or you can call us at 360-650-3744. And we've been more than happy to look over your account if you have any financial questions regarding anything relating to housing. So that's your meal plan or your housing charges. That's who you would need to call, not the Student Business Office, but the Housing Business Office. I am going to give that back over to Dong. Thank you so much for coming today.
All right, thank you very much. Again, if you do have any questions, I do want to highlight the contact information at the very bottom of the page. You can email us at housing@wwu.edu or call us during normal business hours. Our main website is housing.wwu.edu. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much again. Well, thank you for the first time for Dong and Michelle for that information, and another thanks to all of our other presenters. And I do just want to give another quick reminder that we are going to be publishing these recordings because I know that was a lot of information to take in at once. So keep an eye on your emails at the end of September for an update on these recordings being published. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into answering these questions. So I think our guide for that is going to be Dina. So I will hand that over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I am actually going to start a little bit as somebody behind the scenes here. I actually work in our scholarship center. So there are a couple of scholarship questions that I wanted to address. The first one was, can you get your Admissions Achievement Award renewed after year one? Is there something equivalent that somebody could obtain? And I think this is a really important point for everybody. The scholarships that are awarded via our admissions office are done automatically based on admissions materials. They are awarded as either a one-year scholarship or a multi-year scholarship. So depending on what kind of scholarship or award you received, that renewal process could be in place. So those who get a multi-year scholarship will be automatically awarded those multiple years by continuing to maintain, I think, a minimum GPA. For those students who were awarded a one-year scholarship, there unfortunately isn't an option to renew or get it for your second year. Instead, what we have students, regardless of their scholarship, for second year, whether they have that multi-year one or not, we have students work with our scholarship office because we do post scholarships for continuing Western students. So when that application process opens up in the late winter quarter, early spring quarter, your new students will be continuing students at that time. So that is the opportunity to apply for scholarships for year number 2. During first year, the main scholarship opportunities are sort of private scholarship opportunities and available through outside organizations. But there will be an opportunity to apply for scholarships via the Scholarship Center for year 2. So I just wanted to get that one taken care of, but then I'm going to go on. Some of these questions were asked a little earlier, so hopefully I don't get anything that may have been answered already, but I will go ahead and just start going through these. And one of the questions is, let me find it. My parents invested money with GET, Guaranteed Education Tuition, which helps pay for schooling. Do you know how we pay with that and where? So that would be a student business office question. So I'm going to send that over to them to either answer that or reiterate the answer to that question.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that, Dina. So you can request GET payments on our when, where, and how to pay page. There is a link there. When you click on it, it does tell you how to request those funds from the GET website. And we do recommend allowing 14 days for your disbursement to apply to your student account. So instructions on how to access that are on that page. If you have questions, feel free to call our office and we can walk you through that process as well.
Great, thank you. Let's see. We have a question that it would be for financial aid. So Shannon, this question is for you. After completing the master promissory note and the entrance counseling on FAFSA, how do I accept the loan offers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're going to want to go into your web for you, and you're going to look under the financial aid tab. There's going to be some options there, and there should be a link for award. And then you're going to choose the academic year, so 23-24. And then in there is where you have the option to accept, decline your award. You can accept a custom amount per quarter. You can accept the whole thing. But yeah, it's all in there in the web for you under the financial aid tab, under award, and then under the year.
Great, thank you, Shannon. Okay, so this, although it's a financial aid question, I think I'm going to actually pass it to the business office, because it is something that's really important to note, that the financial aid office and the business office really work in tandem, because the financial aid department is responsible for awarding and getting financial aid ready to go and authorizing that. And then the business office takes over in terms of that billing and applying those financial aid funds and then potentially refunding. So the question is really, when will the financial aid, including private loans, be distributed to students for living expenses as they move to Bellingham and acquire housing? So Megan, I think it's an important thing to really emphasize when those extra proceeds, if somebody has them, would be available.
Yeah, so financial aid does disperse onto the student account that Friday before classes begin. And once the term begins, we do refund every day. So as long as you have your fulfilled all of your outstanding requirements with financial aid, then your aid would disperse. And if you had direct deposit set up, then your direct deposit would come 1 to 2 days after the start of the term, direct deposited to your account. So again, refundselection.com is where you'd want to set up that direct deposit. And I would recommend getting that done. Fall term starts September 27th. So for 2 weeks of the term, we do refund every day.
Perfect. And I think that's a really good point. I know that as people are getting ready and trying to get housing established, just wanted to clarify that the funding, even though it might be used to pay for housing or deposits, is not available until after classes start or as classes start. So thank you. Okay, on to housing. This question is related to the housing webinar. It says, when will the recording of the August 18th housing webinar be posted to the website so that we can see it? One of my colleagues in housing, I'm hoping you can answer.
Hi, Dana. Yeah, so I am not sure of the date that will actually be uploaded to our website. I think Paula asked that question. Paula, if you could send our office an email at housing.business@wwu.edu, I'd be more than happy to get that information back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, so let's see. This question, I don't know if it's being typed out an answer, but I think it's a really great one. If my student hasn't seen a financial aid offer yet, who should she contact? So Shannon, perhaps you could clarify if somebody at this point, an incoming student, hasn't yet seen their financial aid.
Yeah, so if you still have not received any letters, first place to check might be through that web for you. We do, for freshmen and transfer students, we do send out a paper copy of that offer. So if there's been a change of address or there's something, wasn't quite right there, it would have been sent back to us. So definitely check your web for you first. And then if you still don't see anything there, you can contact our office. It's possible you have some outstanding requirements or, something is missing in that sense. But we can definitely help you figure out why you haven't seen it yet, as there could be several different reasons for that.
Okay, so this question is, it looks like, I think it's back to that business office presentation. Can parents access the payment site without our students getting on their account? I plan to pay via e-check from home, but my daughter will have the account in Bellingham.
Yeah, so your student can set you up as an authorized user regardless of where you're located. That way you can have your own login information. It's actually sent via email. And so it'll go to your email address with your own login. In addition to that, we do have a guest payer portal that you could also make payments to. That is a blind portal. So it won't show you your account balance at that time. So it is recommended that the student sets you up as an authorized payer. That way you can see the amount you're paying, view the billing statements and confirm that amount before you make your payment. Both of those links are on the homepage of the SBO website under Make a Payment. There's one for parents, and then there's more options where you'll find the guest payer access.
Sure. Okay, housing. This question says, when will my son, who has not yet been assigned a roommate or housing, be assigned for the fall?
That's a great question. We are currently in the middle of assigning people who did not select their own room or select their own roommate group. So between August 15th and the end of this month, you should be receiving a room assignment. That's in general. So if you think that there's something a little bit different with your specific individual account, I'd really encourage you to go ahead and just call in to our main office line, and we can take a look to the specific housing application. But you should expect to see something if you applied on time by August 31st. And we began that room assignment process already.
Okay. So this question says, if I am attending Western just in the 3 quarters, fall, winter, and spring, do we also pay in the summer? I'd say maybe billing, student business office, you could speak to that a little bit.
So I'm sorry, could you repeat the question again?
If I'm attending Western just for the 3 quarters, do we also pay in the summer? So I'm not sure exactly, but I think separating and at least giving a little bit of information about summer quarter and how that works.
Yeah. So the traditional terms of the academic year are fall, winter, and spring. A lot of students don't register for summer as they tend to go home or aren't on campus in the summer. So summer term, if you are wanting to register for classes, you would want to speak to financial aid to complete a summer application for aid if you're interested in receiving aid for that term. And then summer term classes are a little bit more expensive as they are accelerated. They're 6 and 9 week long courses. But if you're not registered for summer, then you would not have a bill for summer. So no payment would be needed.
Okay. So this might be, I know this business office is sort of in charge of the recordings of these, but this was specifically a hard copy of the presentation. And I think perhaps somebody is really looking to find the screenshots that we have. So I don't know if we could check on that to find out if an actual display of the screens is available to anybody.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see if we can provide that as well as when we post the links to the videos, if we can provide a link to a PDF of these presentations. If that person would like to send an email to sbo@wwu.edu that they're interested in that, and we'd be happy to follow up and make that available if we can.
Thank you. Okay, so this is for financial aid. Do you have any language assistance on the financial loan? So I think that it would be good to sort of check in with financial aid to see if there's any particular assistance for maybe non-English speakers.
Yeah, so we do have a couple people in our office that are fluent in Spanish. Otherwise, we can definitely, contact our office and we can definitely work out something there as far as getting that help that we need.
Thank you. Okay, housing. My child was assigned a 3-person room in Edens North. The only room floor plan on the website is for a double room. How can we find out what a triple actually looks like?
Oh, Michelle, did you want to answer that?
Oh, no, go ahead, Dong.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the rooms can differ. So doubles can slightly differ, triples can slightly differ. I think in general, what I probably would recommend is looking at the floor plan, but also if you have a specific question related to the floor plan, you can, if you go to the Living on Campus or the Current Residence tab, you can find the resident director for that community and message that resident director, and they should be able to help you.
Thank you. There's been a couple of scholarship questions too, and I want to give a better explanation as to sort of time frame, because I know there's been a couple questions, both Western scholarships as well as private scholarships. Unfortunately, this is the busiest time of the year for our scholarship center. What happens is private scholarships that come in from outside organizations, those are deposited, they go to the business office, they are deposited, and then the paperwork is provided to the scholarship center. We currently are getting probably 40 to 50 scholarship checks a day. So we are definitely getting boggled down with getting those processed, because it does take some time. We want to look at the scholarship check, find out who it's from, the name of the scholarship, looking at the requirements. So it does take us a while. It typically can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks from the time we get that scholarship for it to be present on the financial aid. We do send out notifications when those scholarships are processed. So, you know, if you haven't, you want to check to see if a scholarship check has been received, we're happy to look to see if we have it. But you will get a notification once we've processed it, with the specific name being added to the financial aid award. So that will show up kind of like on the financial aid that Shannon showed. It will just be listed as one of those with the name of the scholarship. Another piece that came up a little bit frequently is that admissions for many students were awarded a generic merit scholarship or something like that, and were told by the admissions office that they would get a different named scholarship instead, or it was going to be replaced with another scholarship. We have gone through the process and we have actually canceled all those placeholder ones, the generic scholarships, and we are processing all of the named foundation scholarships to go in and take the place of. So it's not unusual that those new ones have not been added yet. The last report I ran, there's about 900 scholarships. So we are just getting through those. So we appreciate patience, but you're welcome to check in maybe by the beginning of next month, or, you know, week into the quarter if you're still not seeing it, you know, there's been processed quite a long time ago. So those are just a couple of scholarship things that I wanted to make sure got addressed. And I think Michelle was trying to ask a question or make a statement or something.
Yes, I just wanted to let everybody know on our slides, just so everybody is aware, we do have a couple different departments within our housing university residences. So the information that you do see that's up right now for the website that says housing.wwu.edu is our main hub for all of housing questions, with that email there, the phone number. But we do have another department, and that's what I actually put in our chat, which is just our financial side. So if you did have a specific question, just that's a financial question regarding billing or meal plans, or moving rooms regarding tiered billing, that would be at the number that I posted, which is our housing business office. So that email that I put in there is a little bit different with a different phone number, just so everybody has that information too. But for main questions coming into housing, definitely what's up on our page right now is our main hub for housing. But if you do have any questions, please just give us a call or email us there, and everything will always get rerouted to us too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So financial aid. When will we be required to complete the FAFSA for the next school year, the 2024-2025?
Yeah, so typically the FAFSA is available for the following academic year. This year, however, it will not be available until December 1st. And I'm sorry about the issues.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to pass it over to the business office. I need to request 529 funds to be sent to the school, but we don't exactly know how much we owe until it's really too late to make that request. Can we send the entire balance? Can we ask that the entire balance be sent, and then there would just be a balance on her account? I think it's a great question.
Yeah, so if the charges are already posted onto her student account, she can log in and get that current balance. And sending the 529 payment, you can look on our website to see how to send it to us. If you do request in excess of those funds, then the remaining balance would be refunded, because there would be no additional charges covered on the account, and then that would be refunded to that student.
Thank you. And I think that I saw earlier somewhere on here, this question about housing charges not being there yet. So that might sort of play into looking at how much the charges that they're trying to get those funds for. So can you, or
Yeah.
maybe Allison, speak to when housing charges, the full bill would be available?
Yeah, for housing, just for the housing piece, we're trying to get everybody billed and into their rooms. So it does take us a little longer than tuition charges. Once you've registered, those charges get put on your account right away. But for housing charges, we're going to make sure that everything gets billed on their student account by the September 14th. So you should see those charges on the account by then, just so we make sure we do an upload for all of our students at one time. So what that means, we're going to have to make sure we get people off wait lists, and that way we do a mass billing for all students. So we apologize, it's a little later than the student business office gets those tuition bills on there, but we will make sure that is done before the 14th. And if it's on any earlier, you can just kind of log into your student account probably weekly from now on. It might be on earlier than that, but as a general whole by the September 14th.
And then just to follow up with that, tuition is not due until the 27th, the first day of the term. So if those do get on by the 14th, I would recommend requesting those 529 payments. And then you have until October 15th for those funds to be received before any additional late fee or interest has occurred. So hopefully that's enough time within that window.
Okay, great. This is a question for Dong and Michelle. This is, it's not financial, which, you know, we're really focusing on the financial piece, but somebody did have a question related to housing. And what kind of equipment is supplied in community kitchens, pots, pans, dishes, and is there lighting, desk, all of that? So I think that they're really looking for some resources of what's available to students who live in university housing.
I'll talk generally. Every single room will come with 2 desks, at least 2 wardrobes or a closet, and lighting for the desk, and 2 beds, 2 waste bins, 2 recycling bins or chairs for every occupant of that is intended for that room. And then at the front desk, there are things like pots, pans, probably not dishes, board games, things like that for you to check out. But that's broad in generally speaking.
And I feel like a lot of families do Target runs after they move in to get all those last little pieces. There's 2 questions, and it's really related. It's along those same lines about measurements, because I think people are really trying to figure out how to, you know, do this and how do we measure things. So both of the room as well as the things in the room. So maybe could you address that?
Yeah, unfortunately, some of these buildings are older. Even within a single community, there are different types of rooms that may have different size wardrobes and things like that have changed over time as we replace them. So it's really difficult to know the exact measurements for every single room and every single thing. My recommendation, though, is really to hold off until you fully move in. Before kind of committing to any specific things like that, in case the roommate also has some ideas. But unfortunately, we're not easy. There's not an easy way to get specific measurements for everybody that requests it. If this is related to an accommodation type issue, please let us know. It looks like the message is like they've left voicemails. I think email is probably going to be the fastest at this point in time, but you can email the general housing email or just email the facilities. But again, the resident director of that specific building can also, if you don't hear back in a timely manner, you can reach out to the resident director who can try to work with you. But unfortunately, we don't have specific measurements of everything because it is very, it can change quite a bit.
Okay, perfect. That's a great answer. Okay, Shannon, I'm checking to see, hopefully you'll be available, but some of this is a little bit repeat, but it's really about when do the current financial aid offers, when do we need to accept those? What is the process, which I think we have a little bit of explanation of sort of web for you, but time frame and maybe a differentiation between grants as well as loans and maybe the different approaches for that.
Yeah, so any grants and scholarships that you have are automatically accepted for you because it is, like we talked about, it's that free money. So Most people don't usually turn that down. So those are automatically accepted for you right away. As far as the loans go, you can really accept them anytime during the academic year. And they will, pay out whenever you accept them. If you know you're going to accept them, the sooner you finish those 2 entrance requirements, the better. Just so you make sure that things will pay out, when fall quarter starts. Yeah, it's really, you can accept them at any time in your web for you.
Perfect. Okay, this is a little bit about the time frame, and I think just it is always worth talking about again. My son doesn't actually register until the 25th, so his tuition is going to then be due 2 days later. Will the charges be billed on the 25th so we can see them, because it's so close to when the first day of classes is? So I think they would like a little bit more explanation about that.
Yeah, I'll take that one, Dina. So as soon as your son registers for classes on 9/25, those will post onto the student account. Tuition's not due until the 27th, and then our first billing statement notification would come out the 1st, and then you have until the 15th of October to pay that bill. So if he registers on the 25th, you would see them that same day. They're not actually due till the 27th, and you have until the 15th to pay.
I think that's really, especially somebody who works in an area that sometimes payments are coming in and they might be a little bit late, is definitely making note that late fee does not apply till the 15th. I've had families who are waiting on one last scholarship to get the bill paid, and so it is nice, that little grace period that you offer.
Yeah.
So there is a question that I will respond to about current scholarship opportunities. The scholarship season is very very short for the majority of Western scholarships. We'll go with that. Western scholarships, almost every single scholarship that Western offers to new students is done through our admissions office, based solely on the admissions material. So that process has been done for the majority of students. There are very few opportunities, whether you're an incoming student or a current student, much of the year. So our scholarship season is typically runs about February to May, and students will be applying for scholarships in that time frame for the following academic year. So as you can tell, you have to really plan in advance for those scholarships. My area, the Scholarship Center, does do a scholarship fair and has lots of opportunities and events to get you prepped during that season. But during this, I could say, non-peak season, the main area that I believe students and families could be looking is our private scholarships or external scholarship section. Those have varying deadlines based on the organization or the donor. So we do have a listing of some different opportunities. Again, it's pretty minimal at this time of the year, but we do update that. Our student employees are updating that website with opportunities they find. Every once in a while, there will be off-season opportunity, and we try to advertise both on our social media accounts. So the Scholarship Center has both Instagram and a Facebook. We do have a newsletter that families can sign up to be added to our listserv, so that we really try to emphasize when things are out of the ordinary, as well as a big blast when things are opening up. So yes, there are current scholarship opportunities right now, but they are pretty minimal. So I would encourage you to check the section and some different websites that we have on the Scholarship Center website for those off cycle. And then really it's about prepping and getting ready for the next cycle. So we don't want students to miss out on the opportunity, because every single year I have students who will come in at the end of the school year in June and say, okay, I'm ready to start applying for scholarships for next year. And pretty much most every Western scholarship has been applied for and awarded. So really make sure students are aware of that time frame, and then check our private scholarship opportunities right now. So I am going to go with a question for Shannon in financial aid. Is the direct plus loan included in the maximum loan amount available each year for federal loans? In other words, can it be above the 5,500 or up to 12,500 student loan amount? So could you speak to how much a plus loan could be?
Yeah, so students can be awarded up to their cost of attendance. So say you have a $6,000 gap between your financial aid and what your actual charges are going to be for the year. So you can ask for a plus loan for a custom amount up to your cost of attendance. So again, you could get that information on your web for you, looking at your budget for the year and how much you were offered, or how much grant aid or anything that you were offered, if you were offered any. So yeah, you can do a specific amount for the plus loan, or you can request the max, which we would just automatically calculate out what that gap is. So just up to the cost of your attendance after taking out any aid that you're already receiving.
Perfect. Yeah. So simplistic, cost of attendance minus financial aid and scholarships is the amount that you can take out in plus loan. So it looks like we have a question. I see the bills come out for the quarter, but is there a way to prepay? So Megan, this question sounds like the business office.
Yeah. So when you log into your Western account online, you'll be on your landing page, which is your dashboard. Right under the summary is a section of available items. Your options are to pay towards your current account balance, fall term prepayment or deposit, summer and spring and winter. So you can definitely pick which term you're wanting to select and prepay. When you do prepay, those deposits will apply to your student account 2 weeks before the term begins. So that's when you'll see those payments drop onto the student account.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think this has happened so far in the webinars, but there are no open questions. So I guess I will give an opportunity, one last chance here, if there's any last questions that people would like to make sure and get answered before we end our session.
Dina, I was just gonna maybe remind students, because we get this a lot, that different departments have their own information release. So if you're choosing to allow someone other than the student to access file specific information over the phone, if you say a parent wants to call in and ask us questions about their student's financial aid, if we don't have an information release form, we can't speak to file specific information. And I know that there are separate information release forms for other offices. So if that is something you're interested in, I know our information release form is on our website, but that is something to remember.
Thank you. I think that's a really, really good point, because often you do get the phone calls of people who believe that they've got the release done. So there actually was another question that I think maybe got moved and I didn't see it. It got re-asked again. I think it's a really good one, and it kind of speaks to the scholarship backlog that I talked about. So somebody indicated that they did receive a $500 scholarship from Fairhaven College. It's not reflected in anything yet, and they can't get a hold of Fairhaven. How and when will they receive this? There is, in most cases, nothing else that needs to be done. Unfortunately, that scholarship is among those 900 that I indicated are Western scholarships that still need to be processed. So I believe as long as somebody received a notification, and if it is a foundation scholarship, typically most students would have had to complete an acceptance form and write a thank you letter. As long as those steps have been done, it should be on our list, but a student is definitely welcome to check in with the scholarship center to find out if we have record of it. So we have the big list, and our front desk staff and our phone staff are great at looking it up and just reassuring families that everything is there and ready to go. We'll just be needing a little bit longer to get that processed. I expect that most everybody who has their scholarships, who have accepted on Web4U or completed the acceptance form and written the thank you letter by September 1st, I really have plans that those should all get in before the start of classes. But again, welcome to check with us to see that we have record of it from a particular college or area of Western. But we are working hard on those. Okay, a couple more questions. Let's see, there's people are typing the answers to these, so maybe I don't have any questions to read out loud. Yeah, it looks like there are some questions. Okay, here's one. Can we split a payment between e-check and credit card?
Yes, you can. Just keep in mind with the card, there is a convenience fee, but you can add multiple payment options when making your payment and then process your payment when you're doing the checkout process on that student account.
Thank you. Okay, I think both the questions that we have are being answered, so I was going to give that a second for those answers to be typed, but I believe that we are done with our questions.
Dina,
So
I was just going to pop in real quick.
Yep, perfect.
The SBO does work with students who are trying to set up a refund preference, and we did have a little bit of a hiccup this summer for some of our students trying to access the refundselection.com website. So if you are having any issues, our contact information is on the screen right now. Please email us at sbo@wwu.edu or give us a call. We are here all summer and we are ready to help. Thank you.
Right, I think I'm going to hand this back over to Holly, since we did answer all the questions.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you very much for popping in with that as well, Karen. You are not alone if you're having an issue there, and luckily we have plenty of time to get you set up with that, and we have a way of helping at the SBO. So I think this was a great success. I appreciate everyone's information. I appreciate you all taking the time to be here. Keep an eye out on your email for a notification about these webinars being, recordings being posted. And please note down this contact information on the screen, send us your emails, give us a call. All of our offices are available in the summer, so we will absolutely be able to help. We're here Monday through Friday, so do not hesitate to reach out to us. And that is everything. Thank you again for being here, and we're really looking forward to seeing you in the fall.